Hey, sister girls, it's Dylesia, and this is Mother Daughter Trauma Recovery TV. So, if you spin the block on me every Monday, welcome back. If you are new to this channel, my name is Dylesia, and I am a licensed clinical social worker who has spent the majority of my career specializing in working with women to help them recover from something that I call mother daughter trauma. And essentially, that is toxic relationships with their mom that impacts their career and finances, their friendships, their romantic relationships, their physical and mental health, their spirituality, and the way that they parent and think about parenting. So, I'm here with this new project where I am sharing tips and advice for women who have mother daughter trauma and happen to stumble across my YouTube videos. So, today's episode is about how you can navigate the holidays if you're deciding to spend them solo because your mom is toxic and you don't want to be around that. So, a little backstory about this particular topic. It is very near and dear to my heart, as is this entire platform, because I have a traumatic relationship with my mom as well. I am no longer in relationship with her. We have been estranged for almost 4 years at this point. So I can certainly give more details and background about that. If anybody's interested, comment below and I'll be sure that that is one of the videos that we post soon. So I would spend the holidays alone once I moved to Atlanta. And I grew up in Portsmouth, Virginia, which is about a 10-hour drive from Atlanta. So, driving that far to be contending with negativity was not something that I was going to do. And the drive wasn't bad. It was something I was used to. When I decided to move from my hometown to Atlanta, I actually drove. I drove. So, and I would drive back. I drove back a couple times. But at one point, I just got to the point where I was like, I'm not going to keep going back to be sad, and I spend my entire time there and I'm wondering why I am there. So if you're in that situation, maybe you do live away and there's an expectation that you'll travel back home, or maybe you live right around the corner from your mom, or, something of that nature, or maybe even you live in the house with her and you are deciding to leave the house so that you don't have to spend the holiday. So the holiday is supposed to be merry, it's supposed to be bright, whether it's Thanksgiving, it could be Christmas, it could be a different holiday that you're celebrating. Right now, as I'm filming this video, it is in November. So we're about a week shy of Thanksgiving. And that is the holiday that obviously I'm working to prepare women for. In this video, people might stumble across this for Christmas or even at different parts of the year. Maybe you're celebrating a birthday. Maybe you're celebrating a Sunday dinner and your entire family gets together, but you being there is detrimental for your mental health. Whatever the thing is, you have decided that you are opting out because you want to protect your peace. And I'm here to support you and also to give you tips and tell you how you can navigate it so that you don't spend the whole day in bed, sad and moping. Now, we'll say that there is a place for that. We want to feel how we feel. So you might wake up and you're like, not feeling it. Or you might wake up and you're feeling great. And then at some point throughout the day, you start to feel bad. Know that your emotions are okay. They come in waves. Happiness is going to come in waves. So is pain. So is regret. So is sadness. All those things are going to happen. And we have to welcome them because that is the only way. You leaning into your emotions is the only way that you're going to actually reach that distant destination of healing. So I want you to feel how you feel, but in the moments of happiness, you have an opportunity to take advantage of them and to take back the power of your holiday. So the first tip that I want to give you is that we're going to treat the holiday like the holiday that it is. So that's why you see me, I'm looking fly. First of all, I'm on camera, so I'm going to do it. But I'm looking fly for you because I want to give you an example of what we look like when we are alone by ourselves. We looking just like we look when we were with other people, okay? So that's number one. When you go to your auntie house for Thanksgiving, your mama house for Christmas, your friend house for your birthday, wherever you be going, you don't be going over there looking like you do when you watching this video, okay? And no shade, because I be looking how I be looking when I be looking how I be looking too. But for the purposes of this video and the purposes of this holiday that you're watching this video thinking about, we are going to get up, we're going to wash our face, we're going to put our smell goods on in the shower, we're going to oil and butter up our skin, we're going to do our hair, we're going to put them edges and lay them, we're going to put some makeup on or get somebody else to do it for us, and we're going to put on some heels, okay? You see my heels? They fly, right? But we are going to literally treat this as we would if we were going to someone else's house. We dress to impress. We, buy stuff we can't afford to impress people who don't care. Now, I'm not telling you go buy nothing. If you want to treat yourself, cool. It is, a holiday and you are spending it alone, but don't do it out of your budget. But nonetheless, I want you to get up and treat yourself like you're going somewhere, because you are going somewhere. It's just somewhere with yourself and you don't have to leave the house to do it. So that's number one. Get dressed, okay? And get dressed nicely. Don't put on that little robe that you be wearing with the holes in the underarms. And I'm talking from experience because I have one of those. I threw it out just a little while ago. So I was like, girl, you deserve something better than this. But that's not what we're wearing today. We're not wearing the long muumuu dresses and the bonnet. We are literally putting effort into our outfit because we want ourselves to know you are worth putting on for, okay? Your mom has treated you the way she's treated you for your whole life. And that has made you think that you deserve leftovers, secondhand. You don't deserve the best. You deserve to do the best when you're in front of other people because you're people pleasing and you're trying to, win their approval and trying to make sure that they feel happy about you being around. But where does that all come into play when you're alone? So that's why I want you to treat this like the holiday that it is. Number two, I want you to have some boundaries with yourself, okay? The boundaries that you set with yourself are the hardest ones that you will ever set because they depend or they're honestly contingent. Like the other boundaries that you set with other people are contingent upon how your boundaries with yourself are. So if I set a boundary and I tell somebody you're not going to talk to me like that, then I actually have to make sure that they don't talk to me like that. So that's why we have to start with you. And we're going to start with you on this holiday. And that means that you're going to stay off of social media and you're also going to stay out of those group chats, okay? So the reason why you're doing that is because we're guarding our gates on this holiday. We don't want to be scrolling. That's either through our text messages or through our Instagram feed or our Facebook feed. This applies to any social media platform, okay? I'm not just talking about Instagram, even though I named that. I'm saying stay off of social media, period. Maybe for the time leading up to the holiday, maybe for the time after the holiday. Might be a little bit easier if it's a holiday that is just celebrated by you and your family because other people are not around the world celebrating that as well. But if you're talking about one of these major holidays, all you're going to do is look at pictures of other people, look at videos of other people, and be sad. It's not jealousy, it's regret that you weren't born into a family where you're able to have those kinds of memories. But it's also a little twinge of proudness because you don't know those people's story either. And I will tell you that a lot of people post on Instagram and Facebook and all these other sites are not really true depictions of what their relationships look like. They're posting out of obligation. They're posting to make themselves feel better about what really is happening behind the scenes. So getting caught up is not something that you want to do. You don't want to spend your day in bed on social media scrolling and feeling sad for your situation, for your reality. You know your reality without it being compared to other people's realities. The group chats, you're going to stay out of those because we don't want to hear what's happening at the family dinner when we're not at the family dinner. If I want to know what was going on, if I want to know that Uncle Corey was cussing Aunt Cora out, if I wanted to know my mama was acting like how she always be acting, then I would have came. I don't need to know, and that's why I chose not to come, okay? So we're going to be responsible for our own mental health and decide who, what, when, and where we are going to allow into our system. Okay? That feeds into my third tip, which is you have to preset your boundaries. Now, you're not capable of presetting your boundaries with people who don't respect your boundaries, but people who don't respect your boundaries will easily call themselves out. It's almost like they're going to stick out like a sore thumb, and that's going to be what allows you to know this is not my person because they aren't respecting what I need to be supported. That doesn't make you weak that you need it. It doesn't make you over exaggeratory or sensitive. It means that you are self aware and you know what you need to feel good. And if people love you and support you in the way that love should be shown, then they are going to respect those. So when I say preset your boundaries, I mean that you're having conversations with those who are in your corner. If you don't have anybody in your corner, then take this little tip and put it in the tuck, okay? Take it and know that if you spend this holiday and you commit yourself to God and say, God, I'm stepping out on faith. I know that I could be with my family. I know that they're not good for me. I know that you have called me to have relationships that prove to me that you exist because I'm treated so good. And I don't have that right now. So I'm standing on my reality and I'm allowing the word to do the work. You put this information that I'm giving you, tuck it away, tip number 3, and you know that I'm going to preset my boundaries when God gives me the people who will allow me to do that. But until then, I will be by myself. So by presetting your boundaries, I mean that you're telling people how they can show up for you, how they can support you. That might look like saying, girl, I love your family. I'm happy that you're happy. But can you just not send me any videos or any pictures of y'all enjoying your Thanksgiving? This is the first time, or, this is the first time I'm being intentional about how I spend my day. And I really want to not be triggered. And I know that if I see those videos and pictures of your family, I'm going to regret that I'm not with my family, even though we don't have good relationships. Or I'm going to be sad that that's not my reality and I'm going to crave it. And a good supportive friend who actually has empathy and is mentally healthy and able to be reasonable is going to understand exactly what you're coming from. They're not going to call you jealous. They're not going to say that, oh, you should be able to see my stuff if you, no, they're not going to do that. They're going to understand my friend needs me to support them in this way, and I'm going to show up for them. So I want to make sure that you are having those conversations with people in your life if you have them. Now, it is scary to have these kinds of conversations with people because you never know how they're going to react, which is another trauma manifestation. Every time you tell your mom things that, would require her to change the way that she shows up for you, she reacts poorly or doesn't react at all, or makes it clear that you better not have those conversations with her because she is who she is. So, of course, that means when you're going into these conversations with other people, you're going to second guess yourself. You're going to wonder, are they going to respond how my mom would? And you might not consciously tell yourself that, but that's how your unconscious is working. It is afraid of experiencing the same type of trauma over and over. So there's a psychological resistance to you having these kinds of conversations. But what I will say that should inspire you to actually have them, they bring you closer to your people. So let's say you have a conversation with a friend, you're scared, you're doing it afraid. And then that person responds better than you thought they would. That's going to draw you closer to that person. What mother-daughter trauma does is it puts us on an island, it isolates us, it makes us feel like we can't have close connections with anybody. And that's not the reality. The reality is that you can have them, but you're going to have to convince yourself that not everybody is going to be like your mom. Some people will, but there are also people who won't. And you have to keep fighting until you find those people. So if you do have those people, I want you to be very, very proactive and preset your boundaries with them. Because the last thing you want is to be bombarded, like the example I gave, bombarded with pictures. And then you over there sad, and your friend doesn't even know that, dang, if she would have told me this 3 or 4 days ago, I wouldn't have even sent those pictures to her. I wish that I knew so that I could be a good friend to her. So make sure that you lean on your friendships in the way that you are supposed to, and in the way that unfortunately your mom never allowed you to lean on her. So that brings me to my fourth tip, my fourth and final tip, which is I want you to create your own traditions. So one of the ways that we take back power is that we are creating our own rhythms, our own flows, our own vibes. So decide what you want to do on your holiday. Obviously that might change, as you grow and God gives you those people that He's going to give you that are going to support you and love you the way you should be loved. But as for right now, this holiday, you are by yourself. And that is a reality that does not have to be sad. It can be one that, again, sadness will come in waves, and I don't want to pretend like it's not. I cried. Every time that I spent the holidays by myself, I cried because I was like, God, why? Like, why me? Everybody else gets to be with their family. Even if they're pretending, they still get to, but you've given me this onus, or, you've pushed me or made me feel inclined to trust you. Like, what if I just want to be like everybody else and go be blind and pretend like none of this stuff is happening? But God has called you, and He's called you to break generational curses, and that requires you to be alone at times. It's going to require you to be alone until you build your own family and your own vibe. And that family can include people from your actual biological family. It may include friends, it may include kids and a spouse of your own. But for right now, you might be by yourself. If you're watching this video, you probably are. And you want to create your own traditions. So one of the traditions that I used to do, I would go get Christmas sweaters and I would just sit on my couch and watch movies. That was something that I would look forward to. Now it was a trial by fire. It wasn't what I did the first time. That's why I'm making this video for y'all, because The first time I just sat there and I cried. Other times I would go to people's house and then I would leave because honestly, I was probably just trying to distract myself. And when I got back home, I was still by myself. Even being at their house, I was by myself. But I also knew even if I went home and was with my mom, I would still also be by myself. So there's no escaping the loneliness that you're going. You have to confront it. You got to face the music, sis. And if you're going to face the music, you might as well face it in a noble way. Because, like I said, if you went back home with your mom 2 holidays, you already know you would be in there feeling isolated. You'll be in there feeling misunderstood. You'll be in there feeling targeted, feeling triggered. So, all those are feelings of loneliness. So, we are going to be intentional and craft our loneliness in this space. And that means you might be like me, sitting on the couch by yourself with your Christmas apparel on, with your, Thanksgiving meal that maybe you got from somewhere else or either you cooked on your own. Whatever it is, you're going to do traditions of your own so that you can take back this holiday. And that, if someone does ask, because people are petty and they probably will, oh, well, you weren't there, so I know you ain't had no fun. What you do? Trying to get you with FOMO. Well, you actually did have a great day. These are the things that you did. And not that you have to report yourself to anybody because you don't. You don't have to tell them what you did. But it will help more to know in your heart that you did enjoy yourself. And it's also going to make it easier next year when the holiday rolls back around and maybe you still are alone, still waiting on God for the people that belong to you. You're able to remember, last year I liked doing this, so I'm going to do that again. Or, I like this, but I'm going to tweak it a little bit and I'll do it better this way. Each year that you have to do this, it's going to get better and better. I had to do this for multiple years. I was in Atlanta, unmarried, it was one time I was actually dating a guy and I was so, girl, that's another video. I was like, I know we spending the holidays together, right? Like, this man be over my house every other day. So why can't he be here? His family lives here. I know he's going to invite me. Girl, pat in the face, was not invited. So, mm, 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 mm. Anyway, so I cried. I cried. It was sad. I had disappointment. All those different things happened. But I promise you, I promise you, I promise you, this road is narrow, but it's going to get you to the life that you want. It's hard. It ain't easy. It ain't glamorous at times. But ultimately, I'm here to attest to you as I sit before you. I have a happily married to my husband. I have two identical twin daughters, which is wild. There is literally a slither of a chance that you could have identical twins. Slither of a chance. Y'all can go look it up. It's like 0.33 of a chance. And everybody in the world has the same small chance. It can't run in your family, any of that. But God has blessed me. He has made my quiver full. He has rewarded me for the fact that I said, I'm not going to tolerate it, God. I know what you have for me, and this is not it. So if that is you, hats off to you, sis. I got a drink for you, okay? That's why I have my drink here. Because we enjoying ourselves. We're not drowning ourselves in liquor to pretend like we don't have any problems or to make us better able to cope with being alone. We're celebrating, okay? So this is me celebrating you for your holiday by yourself that is going to transform into holidays where you are surrounded in the name of Jesus by people who love you, support you, and do not traumatize you. Cheers to you, sis.